It's a chaotic moment, to put it simply. Not liking black people is something you cannot afford. Black people aren't liked enough by you. You might turn into one yourself. There are other black men with a lot of mugshots besides myself, correct? The younger ones are the ones who cut. Yes. That will accomplish your goal. Yes. No one is going to tell me that I'm dependent. I settle my debts. Being the boss comes at a price. By yourself, you are the boss. PN has confirmed to NBC that it is severing its connection with NFL analyst Shannon Sharpe. The action following Sharpe, naturally, the Hall lawsuit alleging the Hall of Fame tight end of sexual assault and abuse was settled. Thank you so much for it. However, I simply hoped for everything since, as I mentioned, they did what they felt was necessary, and I'm okay with that. However, I wish that this matter could have been postponed until Monday, folks. After ESPN dismissed Shannon Sharpe, Katt Williams took a harsh stance against him, and he's not being kind about it either. In essence, Katt is arguing that it's difficult I feel bad for Shannon because he fell for the oldest trick in the book after receiving all that bad advice. In case you missed it, ESPN made the decision to sever Shannon's connection. And the decision was made immediately following Shannon's $50 settlement million lawsuit against Gabriela Zuniga, a model for OnlyFans. The absurd thing is that Katt attempted to alert Shannon about this very situation. On Club Shay Shay, Katt sat across from Shannon and bluntly told him that tampering with white, he could be caught up by women. I will not pretend that I am not afraid of white women, even if I believe they are just as wonderful as any other woman. I'm afraid for a cause. If you were Kang the Conqueror, they might steal your rabbit ass down in a fortnight. The same thing was later expressed by Monique, who also provided Shannon some sound dating advice. I'm thankful I'm not 56 and making an effort. However, you attempt to say that. What are you attempting to say? You have my whole attention. I'm not going to back down. It would be wise for you to get someone to adore you. Oh no. However, Shannon chose to disregard all the advice and warning indications. Now have a peek at his location. Scrambling, jobless, and ashamed. He chose not to play it smart and instead paid this model a large settlement, made headlines, and now tops it all off. ESPN interrupted him. And let's face it, any major network would surely reconsider hiring a man whose most notable news item is now a settlement of a SA lawsuit. I told you so, Katt Williams is now saying. According to people close to Shannon, he doesn't feel sorry for Shannon because Ank had it all and blew it all by being foolish. Furthermore, according to an informant, Katt had a reason for warning Shannon about white women. Long before the lawsuit was dismissed, Katt was aware that Shannon was tampering with this young OnlyFans model, and from a great distance, he could see the entire setup. Now, although Katt gave the impression that he was discussing the Jonathan major situation, he was actually addressing Shannon directly. I was afraid that a white woman would have me running down the street like Jonathan, so I didn't want to date her. Dad, hurry up. It's not that I disliked white women. White ladies, in my opinion, are just as wonderful as any other females. However, I will not pretend that I am not afraid of them. I'm afraid for a cause. They could defeat your rabbit ass in 2 weekends, even if you were Kang the Conqueror. That's the reality of the situation. I therefore avoided that. You can see Jonathan Major's experiences. Marvel fired him as soon as the guilty verdict was announced, and you mentioned that you witnessed the black woman arrive and cut his fee in half. Megan, thank you. Excellent. May God reward you for saving that slave. If he was required to arrive by, he was receiving all for himself. I feel guilty, guilty, guilty. They had to take part of it off as she entered because she was so stunning. God bless him. And that simply proves it once more. Katt may be humorous, but he has never lied. Shannon, however, would not listen. Additionally, absurd is Shannon's agreement to pay millions to the OnlyFans model in the hopes of keeping his job and put an end to this whole situation. Nevertheless, ESPN terminated him and pulled the plug, and barely 24 hours after the settlement news broke, that OnlyFans model resigned from the show. Gabriela shared the information about her Instagram, stating, "I've made the decision to stop participating in OnlyFans as of today. I'm grateful for all of your amazing help over the last few years. I could never have dreamed of the life this community has given me. In addition to continuing to be active on social media, I'm excited to reveal a number of new projects that I'm working on. I'm genuinely looking forward to this next phase. You guys, Shannon really retired this girl. She said that a strange race-playing 50-year-old man had given her generational money for life. This isn't something you can make up. And this is the reason why no one is giving Shannon any leeway. It's not only that this female played him. Additionally, this is the same man who stated that he would not permit his daughter's wedding expenses to exceed $30,000. Fans were also quick to drag Shannon for these remarks, particularly in light of the fact that he acknowledged in leaked text that the OnlyFans model was paying him $25,000 for every cheat. It was necessary, according to someone on X, to reveal Shannon's hypocrisy. He was defeated, his lack of regard for other people. He is now willing to offer millions of dollars to a former employee, but only to his own daughter for her wedding. Additionally, another user commented, "Shannon Sharpe has committed numerous transgressions. However, I discovered that he is frugal with his. I certainly gave that country bumpkin the side eye during his daughter's wedding. That young white girl who thought you were a lick cost you more." How stupid was that? To make matters even more awkward, a few days later, after Shannon reached a settlement and agreed to give Gabriella millions of dollars, ESPN formally severed all of their relationship with him. The worst part is that ESPN didn't even bother to issue a formal statement. People magazine contacted ESPN for comment, but they refused to discuss Shannon in any way. Regarding Shannon's response, he spoke out on the Nightcap podcast on July 30th. Additionally, he stated that he was satisfied with ESPN's choice, but he told his audience that he pleaded with ESPN to wait to announce his termination until after his older brother, Sterling Sharpe, was admitted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shannon claimed that because he was aware of his lawsuit and ESPN's, he had to apologize to his brother. Sterling's moment would be overshadowed by the decision to fire him. However, it was evident that ESPN and Disney did not feel sorry for Shannon and disregarded his request. Before we begin, I'm sure that everyone has heard the news by now that I won't be going back to ESPN. Okay, so I learned about this information earlier this week, and my only real request is that we wait till Monday, guys. My brother is entering the Professional Football League, Hall of Fame. He and my family were the two things I truly wanted to focus on. I am aware that all he has fought so hard for in his life would be overshadowed by this coming out. Furthermore, regrettably, it didn't occur in such manner. Therefore, when I apologized profusely to him earlier today, he remarked, "Bro, stop apologizing. You don't need to say sorry. I'm your big brother. If not, I will still adore you. We all make mistakes, I guess. I love you, bro," he adds. "I'm finished with this. You're finished with it as well. Proceed." Additionally, I had a great experience working at ESPN. In other words, it provided me with a chance to introduce my audience to my growth. You know, they noticed me, Lakers, and I was able to bring those amusing comparisons from my grandparents to ESPN after they seen me utter them at the age of 5. I'm really appreciative of that. However, I simply hoped for everything. Hey, like I mentioned, they did what they thought they had to. Furthermore, I am content with that. However, I wish this had waited until Monday, people, because I detest the fact that I'm taking precedence over my brother and the first two brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And for the next few days, this is what the headline will be. Again, even though you said I didn't have to apologize, I'm going to do it one last time tonight and won't say sorry, once more. I apologize for having overshadowed you in this way. That was never my intention, you know. You've been my hero, I guess. My role has been you, model from as far back as I can recall. I also want to thank all of my fans for their support and apologize. I was at ESPN, and I've been at Club Shea, Nightcap, Undisputed, and other places. I appreciate your support, everyone. What makes the matter worse, you know? More insane? Before the litigation ended, Shannon was about to sign a huge $100 million contract. He was negotiating a podcast contract that would have covered all of his Shay Shay media shows, such as Night and Club Shay Shay, Humble Baddies, The Bubba Dub Show, Club 520 Podcast, and Cap with Chad Johnson. Indeed, on April 18th, 3 days before to Gabriella's case being dismissed, Front Office Sports revealed that Shannon was anticipated to sign a contract worth more than $100 million. Additionally, not currently, Shannon lost his job at ESPN and his prospects of working anywhere under the Disney umbrella, which includes ESPN, ABC, Hulu, and pretty much every major network you can imagine, in addition to the fact that the agreement is no longer on the table. And after that type of public, it's nearly impossible to recover from a stain in those areas, especially one this messy. And the minute Shannon made the decision to meddle with a 19-year-old white girl, all those projects that were meant to turn Shannon become a podcast tycoon went awry. This leads us back to the statement made by Katt Williams. Nobody feels sorry for Shannon since he squandered everything by making poor decisions while he had all the opportunities and power. But tell me what you think about all of this. Was he solely responsible for Shannon's demise? Was it wise for ESPN to sever his connection with him so quickly? What are your thoughts on Shannon agreeing to settle the lawsuit by paying that OnlyFans model millions of dollars? He's budgeting for his own daughter in the meantime. Post your opinions in the comments section below, and I'll see you later in the upcoming video.